Today, I want to go one step deeper. I want to talk about self reflection, giving yourself grace, and maybe the hardest of all is having the tough conversations with others. Because it's one thing to sit alone and admit to your struggles to yourself, but it's another thing entirely to open up and say it out loud to someone else. It reminds me of something we hear in addiction recovery. The first step is admitting that you have a problem. And why not all of us are battling addiction, a lot of us are battling something. Something we've buried, something we've been avoiding. And just like with substance abuse, healing often begins when we say, I see it, I acknowledge it, and I want to change it. And that's where growth begins. And I'll tell you something I've learned. It's not just about having those conversations with yourself, it's about having it with people in your life who you care about, who've maybe been impacted by your silence, your pain, or your past. Sometimes that conversation sounds like, I've been carrying a lot I never talked about. I've hurt people because I wasn't healed myself. I let fear or anger lead the way, and I see how that affected us. These aren't easy words to say, but they are freeing and they are healing. Because when you own your story, you take its power back. You don't have to be ashamed of where you've been when you're willing to grow from it. And listen, give yourself grace. This journey isn't about perfection. It's about being real. It's about being brave enough to reflect, admit, and communicate. Even if your voice shakes, even if you don't have all the right words, healing doesn't always look pretty. Sometimes it looks like crying mid-sentence. Sometimes it looks like sitting in silence because you don't know what to say. Sometimes it looks like admitting, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm trying. That's what grace looks like. So wherever you are on your journey, I want you to remember this. You are allowed to be a work in progress. You are allowed to change. And you are absolutely allowed to open up and have honest conversations about what you're working through. Not just with others, but with yourself. So maybe today's the day. Maybe today you take that first step. You sit with your truth. You extend yourself some grace, and you have that honest conversation with someone who matters. You don't have to carry this all alone. Because real connection, real healing, it starts with the truth. And truth, my friends, will always set you free. Until next time, keep reflecting, keep growing, and most of all, keep giving yourself grace. And as always, God bless.